Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Gutierrez and this is my final research presentation for ASM 308. So my topic that I chose for my paper allows me to explore how cultural beliefs, racist stereotyping, and discrimination ultimately played an effect on Asian American women's ability to achieve equality and socioeconomic success, and how it compares to today's society. So why did I select this topic? So I chose this topic for multiple reasons. I mainly chose it because it allowed me to examine the discrepancies that many Asian American women had experienced throughout history. And not only that, but it allowed me to, acknowledge how many Asian American women faced racism and discrimination, but I was also able to view how their society and cultural beliefs also contributed to ways in which these Asian American women were also treated. And I also chose this topic because it interests me the most, as I'm able to pretty much see the various obstacles that these women faced and how they were able to overcome the adversity. So what's the history or background of your topic? So my topic refers to events that occurred throughout history that contributed to the experiences of these Asian American women. So I began by introducing the Chinese Exclusion Act along with the Page Act, as these two events mainly had greatly limited the ability of Asian American women or Asian women to immigrate in general, and it enacted numerous restrictions and discrimination towards them, and I believe that was one of the starting points. So I highlighted that in my research. And followed by this, I also explained the various cultural expectations that had contributed to many conforming to their gender stereotypes. So what are some of the literature review findings? So throughout my research paper, I did utilize a lot of outside resources to kind of help me conclude my research, and I also used various texts or chapters within the textbook as well. But some of the articles that I did find were the Decitizing Asian Pacific American Women, recent developments hitting the ceiling, and examination of barriers to success for Asian American women. I also utilized a more recent article, which was the second generation Asian American women gendered racial socialization. I used that one because it kind of turned the perspectives in my writing, how the previous experiences of these women were, and then how most of the second generation were also affected by these stereotypes, or also what their family expectations were due to their parents or their grandparents' experiences in the United States. I also utilized an article that was titled "The Feminist Movement, Where Are All the Asian American Women?" I also utilized the development of feminist consciousness among Asian American women. And I also did a Fearing Yellow, Imagining White media analysis of the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. And that article really did help me kind of understand the Chinese Exclusion Act a little more, and how the Page Act also affected these Asian American women. And once again, I said I utilized the textbook a lot for those personal experiences that many of these Asian American women have experienced. So what did I learn from this topic? Some main points that I did learn were that Asian American women have dealt with multiple barriers throughout history, such as the Chinese Exclusion Act, the Page Act. They experienced work discrimination, gender stereotypes, and cultural limitations. And these events and ideals affected their ability to achieve equity or equality and improve their socioeconomic status. So although many Asian American women still experience multiple racist stereotypes and discrimination, their strides to form those various organizations, change gender racial socialization, and challenge societal views ultimately allowed them to obtain a higher socioeconomic status and equality than what they once had. So even though it still is pretty much common, it's they definitely improved from where they were once in society. And then where does this issue stand? So within today's society, I believe that Asian American women have seen tremendous improvements regarding the reduction in racism and discrimination within society and the workforce. And then many had also strayed away from like those cultural beliefs and began to develop a life in which they were viewed as equals with Asian American men, meaning that they were able to go to work and not just stay within the household. And then this allowed many Asian American women to break down barriers and ultimately change their socioeconomic status, as they could take advantage of opportunities that they were previously restricted on, meaning that they were able to get an education, create income, and then take on new occupations. And then I still believe that with this issue, there's still a long way to go for many Asian American women to be provided more rights and equal opportunities in society. So what is the social significance? The social significance of this research is to provide a different perspective on the lives of Asian American women. It allows for individuals to note that Asian American women endured experiences that were significantly different from all Asian American men and women in general. So they had their own issues. And this research also suggests that Asian American women had overcome the obstacles at hand and sought to fight against the stereotypes implemented upon them. This research also speaks to the importance of treating every individual equally, or with equality, and providing them with the opportunity to enhance their socioeconomic status. So what are my thoughts, insights, and personal experience? So after completing this research, I was surprised to learn about all the disadvantages that many of these women faced. It wasn't just surface. I actually was able to kind of deep dive and get a better understanding of the effects of many of these exclusion laws and the work discrimination that they faced. It also brought a lot of emotion. Like, it saddened me to learn that many of these Asian American women were discriminated or faced discrimination, and there were numerous assumptions made against these women that ultimately impacted their ability to reach equality or achieve a higher socioeconomic status. I noticed that there are also similarities between Asian American women and other minorities, such as Mexican American women. So a lot of these minority groups can come together and work together to overcome a lot of the barriers that they are experiencing together. Thank you.